Man, y'all already know what time it is, man. It is time for another Raw frickin' recap, man. As always, be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications, and don't forget, man, leave your thoughts down in the comments, man. I guarantee most of y'all that watch these, I guarantee you guys have some sort of thoughts, so be sure to drop those in the comments. Let's have a nice discussion down there about this week's episode of Raw. I'm always open for stuff like that. And always, go follow the socials. Links to those will be in the description of this video. That includes my Instagram account, my X account. And one more thing, before you guys ask, why are you wearing a Santa hat? Well, guys, it is the most wonderful time of the year after all, man. It is that time of year, man. It's that season. I don't really care. I get Thanksgiving is just around the corner. We aren't even in December, but I don't care, man. You gotta wear the Santa hat, from Thanksgiving to December, man. That's just what you gotta do. And after all, like I said, it's the most wonderful time of the year. Alright, man, so we would kick off the show as you can expect, man. It is the last time that we will get to see this, man, on an episode of Raw. So we would kick it off with John Cena, man, our new Intercontinental Champion. So he would come out, and he wouldn't get to say much. The main thing he really would get to say is pretty much this is obviously the last time that I'm pretty much here on Raw. And then obviously we would end up getting Dominic Mysterio. He would come out, and what we get from this is we would get the announcement that obviously Dominic does want a rematch, because obviously John Cena beat him last week on Raw to take his Intercontinental title. So Dominic, he approaches a rematch, or he presents a rematch. John Cena says right here tonight, here in Madison Square Garden, and Dominic Mysterio just says no. And then we would understand that we would now get John Cena versus Dominic at War Games, San Diego, California. So that is what is next for these two. It's going to be John Cena versus Dom for that Intercontinental title at Survivor Series War Games. So we'll have to see what happens there, but we're not going to get that match tonight. We are getting a match tonight because it would obviously turn into us getting, we would see a kind of like a brawl, because Dominic Mysterio would have the Judgment Day come out, the rest of them, and then it would turn into an attack on John Cena, which would then bring out Sheamus. Then that would bring out Mysterio, or Rey Mysterio, and then it would get announced we would have a 6-man tag match between John Cena, Sheamus, and obviously Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day of obviously Finn Balor, JD, and Dominic Mysterio. So that is really everything that happened in this opener. That is all the important stuff. So I think this was a pretty solid opener, man. I think this match that we're getting, which we're going to talk about just after this, I think that's going to be pretty good. And obviously Dominic and Cena at War Game at Survivor Series, that's going to be pretty damn good as well. So overall, I think this was a very good way to kick off our show tonight. All right, and as mentioned, we would jump into John Cena and Sheamus and Rey Mysterio versus the Judgment Day of Dominic Mysterio, Finn Balor, and JD McDonough. This match absolutely freaking awesome, an absolute freaking banger, as Sheamus would say. But yeah, it just overall a great match. They're great top rope maneuvers, great chemistry throughout the entire throughout every superstar. You had great interactions even between just Dominic Mysterio and Rey Mysterio, because obviously they have that whole thing that was brought into this match as well. But overall, I mean, everything just super damn good in this match, and especially the ending. I think the ending was very good. We saw a double 619 by Rey Mysterio, which would then lead into an AA from John Cena, and then at the same time a bro kick from Sheamus as well, which would then obviously lead to the wins of Sheamus, John Cena, and Rey Mysterio. So I think this match was an absolute banger, man. There's really not much to hate about this match. In fact, I don't think there's anything to hate about this match. Fast paced, it was action packed, great chemistry, great moves, everything about this match so awesome, really lighten the mood. So overall, really like this match. Great first match of the night, man. Overall, really no complaints on my end. All right, now we would jump into a very short segment, but a short and sort of sweet one. So we would jump into Stephanie Vaquer. So as she's making her entrance, we would see Nikki Bella attack her from behind. Obviously, Nikki Bella turned heel on her last week, but Nikki Bella would come from behind, attack her up at the entrance stage. And then Nikki Bella would say, or would pretty much just tell Stephanie and the entire locker room, entire WWE universe, that everybody, I didn't just come back to just cheer on the sidelines. I came back to take what's mine, and that is this division. And obviously, in order to do that, she needs to go after the world title, so that's why she's going after Stephanie. And then she says from there that that Stephanie will bow down to her and that she will give her a title shot. So pretty much, why is Nikki Bella here and why is she turning heel? It's because she wants her division back. She wants the gold. She wants to be on top. It's pretty much just for power. Now you can understand what she's saying, but I will argue that really her kind of like the way she's talking about it, it just kind of doesn't seem very heelish or very aggressive to me. Then I mean maybe that's just me, but I'm just saying I think we need to get her to be a little bit more aggressive than she was tonight. I just got to say that because tonight what we saw was not very aggressive. I get the attacking part. I get what she's trying to say. I get that she's trying to come off as a heel, but I feel like to inevitably solidify that and really like get that point across, you need to have her be aggressive on the mic as well. And I really just don't feel that way about it currently. So that maybe just be me, but that's really my only kind of like thoughts there. But other than that, I think it was okay. It really wasn't anything special, nothing that we haven't really seen before. And yeah, I mean, it's really just nothing super crazy as an entire segment, you know? All right, man, and now we would jump into the first first round tournament of the night, man. We would jump into Solo Sikoa versus the mystery opponent, and man, this mystery opponent definitely hit harder than the Zack Ryder return, man. We got Dolph Ziggler, and I want to first say why this hit harder than Zack Ryder is just because I remember more of Dolph Ziggler than I do Zack Ryder. It's just that's really just the case for me personally, so that's kind of why this hit harder. But that's besides the point. Let's get into this match here. So overall, I think this was a pretty solid match. I don't think it was anything super crazy, but I also obviously would not consider it bad, but I also would not consider it to be anything super crazy. I think this match was overall, you know, pretty solid for the most part. I will say, unfortunately, the outcome is not what I was hoping. For me personally, I was hoping that Dolph Ziggler would actually come out on top here, just because, I don't know, man, I really did want Dolph Ziggler to advance, but we would obviously get Solo Sikoa to advance, which I guess is expected, but I was really hoping, man, that Dolph would advance because it would be cool to see more of him in WWE currently than just, you know, what he did obviously tonight. But like I said, man, I think that overall, as far as this match goes, I think it was solid. And I think as far as the ending, like I mentioned, I really do wish that we did get Dolph Ziggler to win this one, but obviously, unfortunately, that is not what we got. But hey, we'll take it, man. The highlight here, Solo Sikoa does advance, but really the main highlight is that Dolph Ziggler came back for this match, which I think is very freaking awesome. All right, now we would jump into Alexa Bliss. So she comes out and she says a lot, but to really sum it up, man, she's obviously talking about Charlotte Flair, who had left her last week, and the War Games team. She said she did not want to be a part of it because Rhea Ripley was there. And pretty much Alexa Bliss just hands it right back to her, tells her, pretty much, I gave everything for you. I did everything for this relationship, all for you just to do this. And this is not the Charlotte Flair I know, just to back down because they hate somebody or somebody doesn't like them. That's not the Charlotte I know. And pretty much just giving it all to Charlotte and just telling her that you pretty much backstabbed me. And that would inevitably lead into the other team that's on the War Games side of the women's, but the other team which includes currently the Kabuki Warriors and Nia Jax and Lash Legends. So they come out and pretty much they just circle the ring and they are ready to attack Alexa. But before that happens, we do see Rhea Ripley and Io Sky come out, and then we start brawling, man. And then from there, inevitably, we do actually get Charlotte Flair to come out with a kendo stick. She beats down everybody, and then inevitably, it's just Alexa and Charlotte. They're standing there. On the other side is Rhea Ripley and Io Sky, and then Charlotte just points at Rhea like this. So it's kind of like, so what are we doing from here? Is Charlotte going to join the War Games team or not? I really do want to say for a second, I think this kind of way to approach it is really stupid. I really am not a big fan of this, bro, because it really is obviously seeming like we're inevitably going to get Charlotte in the War Games. Just put her in there in the first place. This is kind of stupid. I get it adds build, but this is really kind of stupid in my opinion. All right, man, now we would jump into another absolute freaking great banger, just overall amazing freaking match, man. We would jump into Becky Lynch versus Maxine Dupree for the Women's Intercontinental Championship. Obviously, Becky defending here. We've seen matches from these women before, great matches all the way around, but this one, man, really solidifies it. This one was freaking amazing, man. I think this was probably their best match yet, like I said, if not their best match, man. This match was awesome, so let's get into it, man. Just overall action-packed, great maneuvers, great chemistry between these women, great back and forth, as you would expect and as you would want from a WWE match, man. Just freaking overall awesome. the ending just gets even freaking better, man. It just puts that cherry on the it just solidifies it, man. That's pretty much what I'm trying to say. Oh my, I'm freaking stuttering out here. But yeah, overall, we get to the ending. Becky Lynch would go and try to remove the turnbuckle pad, which would allow for the freaking return of AJ Lee since WrestlePalooza, man. That's kind of been a question in the back of my mind. Where's AJ Lee? Here's the answer, man. AJ Lee is freaking back. What a great pop for her as well. But overall, that is super awesome as well. And man, this is when things would just get even freaking better, man. Maxine, top rope, and then Becky turns around, and when we see a diving crossbody, 1, 2, 3 matches over. Maxine Dupree is your new Women's Intercontinental Championship, Women's Intercontinental Champion, man. Greatly deserved for Maxine. Great. She's going to have a great reign. She's going to do great things. And honestly, I don't think this is over. I think we're going to continue with Maxine and Becky, and obviously now we have AJ Lee in the mix, so we're most likely going to continue with that, which I'm fine with. That's probably, the only really way to go currently. But man, this was just awesome. Great freaking match. Great everything all the way around. Probably one of my favorite things that has happened tonight is so far, man. Just overall awesome. All right, man. So we jumped into another awesome match, man. I would not call this match one of the best the best match of the night, of course, but definitely one of the best matches. It was obviously Gunther versus Javon Evans in one of the first round matches for the Last Time Is Now tournament. And in this match, we would see lots of great high flying moves from Javon Evans, as you can expect. Lots of good chemistry. Like, it's a bit weird to say that because Gunther's kind of just like more of this technical guy, and then you have more of this high flyer in Javon Evans. But I think these dudes put on a great match, man. So yeah, overall, I think this match was very awesome. Lots of great moves, great chemistry, just great action all the way around, in my opinion, throughout this match. Inevitably, though, we would get to a point where we would see obviously Gunther's powerbomb to Javon Evans. That would allow Javon to actually kick out before the 3, which I was surprised. Then Gunther would put him in that sleeper hold. Javon would break out of it, but then he'd be put right back into it by Gunther. We'd get that tap out by Javon Evans, and now going on is going to be Gunther. I did actually expect this. I think most people expected this. I don't think anybody really expected Javon to win. That would have been very cool, but Gunther just now returning, there's no way he loses this, so kind of already figured that. But overall, I think this match was pretty solid, pretty good, and overall, like I said, Gunther is going to move on here. Alright guys, and we have finally reached our main event of the night. Dude, this freaking episode of Raw ended so freaking well, man. So, it was the men's War Games just stare off, man. So, we started off, we bring out the Vision along with Logan Paul and Drew McIntyre. And pretty much what Paul Heyman does say for them is just obviously introducing them. My name is Paul Heyman, this is, Drew, this is Logan, all that. You get the gist. And then he says, I've had the honor to walk down many people in War Games. Most notably, or the one that I most remember, is the Bloodline, from what he said. He said a few other names. I really can't remember them currently, even though I literally just watched it, but that's besides the point. But yeah, he lists that. And then we see CM Punk come out, which then leads to Jimmy and Jay coming out, which then leads to Cody Rhodes coming out. And then we start brawling, man. We start having tons of chaos. And then we get to a point where CM Punk is in the middle of the ring. And then we see freaking Brock Lesnar, man. Brock Lesnar comes out. He wipes out CM Punk, man. He's wiping all of them out. And then it gets left Brock Lesnar in the ring. And then guess who else? Put those ones to the sky, because the Tribal Chief, Roman Reigns, man, he comes out. Roman and Brock have a epic freaking stare down, man. You could just feel the emotion at this point, and just the chaos, just the adrenaline. It was freaking amazing. Just such a great freaking main event. They have a stare off, and it just gets freaking chaotic from there. A Superman punch takes out Lesnar. Then we see security. Then we even have NYPD come in there, which is freaking insane. And then to top it all off, man, what ends the night, freaking, I think was pretty freaking hilarious. We see Roman Reigns deliver a gnarly spear to not only Bronson Reed, but a member of the NYPD through the freaking barricade. I think that was so funny, dude. Man, it was just an overall chaotic main event. I freaking loved it. It was awesome. And then obviously the most notable takeaway here is our teams are finally concluded. On one side, it's going to be Jimmy and Jay, as well as CM Punk, Cody Rhodes, and obviously Roman Reigns. And then we obviously have the Vision along with Brock Lesnar. That is our men's War Games. It's gonna be epic. I can't fucking wait, man. It's gonna be freaking amazing. But overall, what a freaking awesome main event tonight. All right, well, that's everything you got to know about tonight's episode of Raw. As always, I do hope you guys did enjoy. And as always, be sure to leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. And just rating this episode of Raw, man, this episode of Raw was absolutely freaking amazing. I think this was one of the best Raws recently, and just overall an amazing Raw. You know, it was just freaking amazing, man. I freaking loved it all the way around. Like I said, though, leave me your thoughts down in the comments below. Be sure to like that video, subscribe to the channel, turn on post notifications so you never miss an upload. Go follow the socials. Links to those will be in the description of this video. That includes my Instagram account, my X account. Do all that, helps me a ton, and I will catch y'all boys in the next one. Peace.